It's not just about the superficial. It goes deeper.
What we do here is important. It's not vanity. It's just like anything else.
It's about doing what makes you feel better about yourself. And if
It's
it's
20 units of Botox, so be it. If it's a medical facial, so be it. If it's laser hair removal,
so be it. If it's restoring your hormones so you can feel
like a human being again, so be it. Those are things
that actually are necessary for some people. And it's not superficial at all.
it goes beyond the superficial. It's more than skin deep because there are
People who actually don't do things or keep from
doing things that bring them joy because of their confidence. And if we could help boost their confidence here,
it can really have a huge impact in their lives.
I know, just speaking on personal experience, I really dealt with really bad cystic acne a couple of years ago. I remember it affected my confidence. I just remember feeling like I always had to apply makeup or maybe say no to an event because maybe I felt like my skin didn't look the best at that time, which I will say this, I feel like especially the younger generation is really doing a great job at almost like saying and spreading this message of it's okay, we all go through this, right? Like, I mean, people go through adult acne, but like I know for myself, mine was in college, so I was a little bit older where I felt really just alone about it. And I don't see the things that you want to look at, right? Like I remember I would walk out into public and be like, oh my god, that girl's skin is gorgeous, and I would just play the comparison game. In reality, she could have maybe been dealing with her own insecurities, but I just remember feeling so confused and helpless about my skin. One of the biggest confidence boosters for me was worrying about, okay, what can I do for my skin? How can I treat the scarring, which I was lucky enough to do microneedling and treatments like that to help me with that scarring. But I just remember that feeling. So I know that when either if a patient walks in or whoever it is walks in and just says like, I'm looking to focus on my scalp, I've been there. So I understand that feeling. Just super special that you get to make people feel that sense of confidence again.
And it is a little bit more dangerous now. There is social media, there's AI, there's filters,
Facetune, there's BodyTune, things that we
see on social media isn't real.
No.
So that's scary. So
I have a 13-year-old daughter and I'm basically banned her from Instagram
because I'm afraid she's going to feed into this sense
of dysmorphia.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing I want for her. She's beautiful, she's smart,
she's athletic. I don't want her to feel like anything less than wonderful.
It's really important that I boost her confidence and I stay positive always because, you know,
teenagers are moody, they're negative. I'd be like, hey, Alessia, good play today. She's like, ugh.
Are you kidding? Like, that was terrible. Every time I pay her a compliment, she has to like spin it in a negative way. So we're working on her positivity. We're working on her self-confidence. But being a teenager in the 90s wasn't easy. Being a teenager, period, isn't easy. But for me, it wasn't easy because that was like back in the hip hugger days.
They were my frenemies.
Like, I mean, if I bent the wrong way, like, I mean, you know? Like,
yeah, no.
Hello. And those baby tees.
Baby tees.
Dealing with that and trying to fit in that way.
I was always tall. I was always curvy. I never felt like I quite fit in.
And I never even fed into like the drama or the
bullshit of high school. I can't even put it any other way. I remember once,
like a stunad, we call it stunad. I guess I had a mini stroke
at 17. I was supposed to pick up my friend on the way to school.
Yeah.
And I forgot.
I don't know. I was probably rushing to go see my boyfriend at the time. I don't remember, but all I knew is that I had to get to school. I had my head quite literally up my derriere. So I forgot to pick her up. I very adult-like apologized to her. I said, you know, I'm so sorry. I forgot. How can I make it up to you? And rather than accept my apology, she turned around and she goes, you know what, Jen? F you. F you. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I owned up to my mistake. I said I was sorry. And now it's like drama. I never fed into the drama. I always kind of marched to my own beat, even in PA school, even now.
Yeah.
Like the circle just gets smaller and smaller. And then you realize who your real family is, who your real friends are. Your friends are supposed to celebrate you and boost your confidence.
Yeah.
Not pull you down. You want people to check in on you and say, hey, I haven't seen you, I haven't heard from you. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's great. Just been busy working. Great, you know, because they can't tell you, hey, it's really amazing that you've grown, but they're the first ones to tell you that you've changed because they can't accept your growth.
No.
It's easier to stay stagnant. I probably wouldn't have done it if I didn't have the push to do it.
So again, in all of my experiences, whether they be negative or positive, I'm grateful for them. In retrospect, it was terrible while I was in it, but nonetheless, we learned from it.
You made a really good point, though. That is such a big lesson I had to learn about friendships and people in your life in general. If they're not rooting for all the good things and they're only there for you throughout the bad things, it's easier to say, oh, sorry, and almost feed off of someone's negative energy, if that makes sense, because it almost makes other people feel good. That is the biggest red flag. And anyway, whether it's a friend, relationship, whatever it is, I've learned that the people who are really looking out for you are the ones that celebrate your wins. Don't play the comparison game, because we all have different goals, right? What one friend may be trying to achieve may not be my life goal, but that doesn't mean that it makes it any less if they are trying to achieve this success in their life, right? I mean, and we all have different timelines too. I have a ton of friends getting married right now, which I love that. I think that's amazing. I think if I spent every day of my life trying to play the comparison game, oh, well, why am I not engaged yet? Why am I not married? I just believe in God's timing. Whatever works out, works out. But I think ultimately, if I let that affect my confidence, I feel like I would just be miserable all day long. And who wants to be miserable?